Welcome back to online classes. So yesterday we studied about vectors. Now we will continue that vector chapter. Okay, now let us see algebra of vectors. So in that first addition. Okay, now we will take two vectors. Vector AB is taken as vector A, then another vector BC, so let us take it as vector B. Then how to add these two vectors? So these two vectors, here we can see that first vector is terminal quantities B and second vector is initial quantities B. Then this terminal and initial point will coincide, then resultant vector will be vector AC. That means we write vector AB plus vector BC. So this is terminal point and this is initial point. So they will coincide, then we write vector AC. So sum of these two vectors is equal to vector AC. That means direction from A to C. So here we will give the direction vector AC. So therefore, vector AB is vector A, vector BC is vector B, that is equal to vector AC. So vector AC is vector A plus vector B, therefore vector A plus vector B. So this is called as triangle of vector addition, because so this looks like triangle, that means one side of the triangle represented by one vector, another side represented by another vector, and some represented by the third side. So triangle of vector addition. And we can add two or more vectors. Now for example, so consider vector AB, vector BC, vector CD. So now you can see that three vectors are there, vector AB, vector BC and vector CD. How to add these three vectors? Now according to the triangle of the vector addition, so initial and terminal points are coincide. Similarly here also vector AB plus vector BC plus vector CD. So this is equal to, so here terminal initial coincide and here we will get vector AC, vector AC plus vector CD, that is equal to vector AD. So this is equal to vector AD. Therefore direction A to B, vector AD. So this way we can add more than two vectors or more than three vectors. In this way we can add. So this is called triangle of the vector addition. Now if we take three vectors in particular direction, now for example vector AB, then if I write vector BC, then vector CA, vector AB, vector BC, vector CA. So in this direction, then so what is the sum? So vector AB plus vector BC plus vector CA. This is equal to, because follow the direction normally, A to B, then B to C, C to A. That is equal to initial point is A and it is returned to the A only. That means here journey started at A, then again it returned to the A, followed by arrow marks. Therefore we have initial point A and terminal point is also A. So vector AA we get. So this is equal to 0 vector, is equal to 0 vector or null vector. Therefore you can see the difference. Same triangle of the vector addition we applied here, but as a sum we get 0 vector. That is because of direction we do. So if you take vector OA. I will take it as vector A. Then another vector, vector OB. I will take it as vector B. Okay, now you can see the difference. To triangle of the vector addition in this addition. So there will be two vectors. So direction is followed by one another. But here we took two co-initial vectors. So vector A and vector B are co-initial vectors. So let us see how to have two co-initial vectors. Now here it is not done by triangle of the vector addition, but we can apply triangle of by completing parallelogram here. That means I can write the parallel displacement of vector OB as write one vector, vector AC. So vector AC, which is parallel to vector OB, that means these two are equal vectors because they are having same direction and also magnitude of these two vectors same. Therefore I write, so this is also vector B. Then while completing parallelogram, so I will write another vector that is equal to vector BC. Vector BC and vector OA are equal vectors because they are having same direction and same magnitude. So this is equal to vector A. So now it looks like a parallelogram. Now we can add vector OA plus the direction A to C, that is vector AC. That means vector OA is vector A plus vector AC is vector B. So this is equal to, here initial point and terminal points coincide. So we are having vector OC. That means vector OC is vector A plus vector B. So therefore vector OC. So this is vector OC. So by applying triangle of the vector addition here, we got the sum, that is vector A plus vector B is equal to vector OC. So I have to write, so this is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, here in this parallelogram, so one side of the parallelogram represented by one vector, another side by another vector, and sum represented by, you can see the diagram of the parallelogram. So this is called parallelogram law of vector addition. So actually this parallelogram law of vector addition and triangle law of vector addition are equivalent. Now, so this is one diagonal, vector A plus vector B is one diagonal. Then what about another diagonal, vector BA? Vector BA. Now let us see what is this another diagonal, vector BA. Now applying triangle of the vector addition, we write vector OB plus vector BA. This is equal to, so initial and terminal point will coincide. So we write vector OA. That means what is this vector BA? Vector BA is vector OA minus vector OB. So what is vector OA? Vector OA is vector A. So here I write vector A minus vector OB is vector B. So vector BA is vector A minus vector B. So this vector BA is vector A minus vector B. So another diagonal, that is vector A minus vector B, and first diagonal that we wrote vector A plus vector B. So one diagonal represents sum, another diagonal represents difference. So that is in parallelogram law of vector addition. addition. So here important in addition. So one is triangle of the vector addition, triangle of the vector addition. Another one parallelogram of the vector addition. After defining triangle of the vector addition and parallelogram of the vector addition, now we shall see the properties under addition. Properties. Then first one, closure property. So closure property means if vector A is a vector and vector B is also a vector, then vector A plus vector B is also a vector. There is a closure property under addition. So if two vectors given, then sum of the two vectors is again a vector. Okay, second property, that is commutative property. That means vector A plus vector B, which is same as vector B plus vector A. So you can do this by parallelogram of the vector addition. By taking vector OS1 vector which is equal to vector A, vector AB which is equal to vector B, vector OC, then it will become vector B only. And if I give the direction, then vector C is also vector A. Now, I want to add this vector A plus vector B. Vector A plus vector B, applying law of vector addition, you get vector A plus vector B is equal to this one, vector A plus vector B. That means vector OB is equal to vector A plus vector B. Similarly, if I take this triangle, vector OC plus vector CD, add them, we get vector OB. So what is vector OB? So vector OC plus vector CD, that means vector B plus vector A. So vector B plus vector A, that is vector OB. That means here you can see one diagonal, that is vector OB, which is sum of the two vectors vector A plus vector B. Also that same diagonal is vector B plus vector A. So therefore, one diagonal that is equal to vector A plus vector B same as vector B plus vector A. Therefore, vector A plus vector B is equal to vector B plus vector A. Commutative law satisfied. Then third property of vectors, vector A plus vector B plus vector C, which is equal to vector A plus vector B plus vector C. So this property is called associative property under addition. Okay, here if I take left hand side, that is vector A plus vector B plus vector C, that is equal to, here we can see three vectors, vector A, vector B and vector C. First we have to add these two vectors, that bracket is given, you can see that. So we have to add vector B and vector C first, then we have to add vector A. Then geometrically it will become, this is vector AB, vector BC, then I will take third vector as vector C. Okay, one vector, vector AB, vector A, vector BC, which is equal to vector B, then vector CD is equal to vector C. Now, we have to add these two vectors first. So, vector B and vector C we have to add. So, add vector B and vector C, that means vector BC plus vector CD. So, what is vector BC plus vector CD? That is equal to vector BD according to triangle of the vector addition. So, this vector BD is vector B plus vector C. Now, after adding vector B plus vector C, we have to add vector vector B plus vector C, that is equal to vector BD. So vector AB plus vector BD, that is equal to triangle of the vector addition, vector AD. That means vector AD, A to D, direction is from A to D. Okay, this is vector A plus vector B plus vector C. Vector A plus vector B plus vector C. That is LHS. Now RHS, vector A plus vector B plus vector C. Means we have to add vector A and vector B first, then we have to add vector C. Similarly, I will take that same figure here, vector AB, vector BC, vector CD, is vector AB is vector A, vector BC is vector B, vector CD is vector C. Now, vector A plus vector B, that means we have to add these two vectors first. Vector AB plus vector BC, that is equal to vector A plus vector B. Then it will become vector AC. So this is vector A plus vector B. Okay, now what is vector A plus vector B plus vector C? So vector A plus vector B plus vector C, that is equal to vector A plus vector B, that is equal to vector AC plus vector C, vector C is vector CD, which is equal to vector AC plus vector CD, vector AD. Direction from A to D. So now vector AD is vector A plus vector B plus vector C. That means here we can see that there is the same vector AD. Here also we can see same vector AD. That is vector A plus vector B plus vector C. Here also vector AD means vector A plus vector B plus vector C. Only bracket changes. That means third property satisfied. Associative property satisfied. Then fourth property, identity, vector A plus dash vector is equal to vector A. That means here, so which vector, by adding which vector, we are getting same vector on addition. That is null vector. So here null vector is called additive identity. So this is called identity property or identity law of vectors under addition. Then fifth property, that is vector A plus dash vector is equal to additive identity 0 vector. So which vector we have to add to get the null vector? We know that we can add negative vector, vector A. So vector A plus minus of vector A is used null vector. So here minus vector is called additive inverse. So these are all the important properties of vectors under addition. So closure, commutative, associative, identity, inverse. Now let us see subtraction. Now consider vectors, vector AB, vector BC. So vector AB plus vector BC is equal to vector AC, vector AC. We can write any vector as difference of two vectors, like vector BC can be written as vector AC minus vector AB. That means any vector that we can write it as difference of two vectors. If we write vector AB, so vector AB can be written as vector AC minus vector BC. So that is subtraction. Subtraction means, so any vector that can be written as a difference of two vectors. So therefore addition, then next operation is subtraction. That is easy. You can represent any one vector as a difference of other vector. That is about subtraction. So next, scalar multiplication. Okay, next third operation or third algebra is scalar multiplication. Okay, scalar multiplication means here we have to take one number. I will consider number as lambda. Lambda belongs to R. Lambda be any number. Then consider one vector. Vector A. That is a vector. Then scalar multiplication means multiplying number with the vector. Multiplying number with the vector, that is called scalar multiplication. Therefore, I write lambda into vector A. Now this will become scalar multiplication. That means number multiplied with the vector. Okay, what about this? That means whether this is a number or whether this is a vector. So lambda into vector A, that is a vector. So this is a vector. It is not a number, but we are getting as a product. That product is a vector. So if it is a vector, then we have to write its magnitude and its direction. So first, writing the magnitude of this vector. So magnitude of lambda into vector A, that is equal to magnitude of lambda into magnitude of vector A. So in this way we are writing magnitude of that vector. Then direction of this vector, direction of lambda into vector A, that is depending upon this lambda. If lambda is positive, then direction of lambda into vector A, direction of lambda into vector A is in the same direction as that of vector A. It is the same direction of vector A. So that is the case if lambda is positive. So lambda into vector A having the same direction as that of vector A. Now, if lambda is negative, then direction of lambda into vector A is opposite to the direction of vector A. Opposite to the direction of vector A. Now, for example, if I write 3 vector A, so this is example for 3 vector A is example for scalar multiplication. Here you can see that 3 is a number, vector A is a vector. 3 vector A, what is its magnitude and direction? So magnitude and direction, so magnitude of 3 into vector A, that is equal to magnitude of 3 into magnitude of vector A is equal to 3 into magnitude of vector A. If you know the magnitude of vector A properly, then here we can write. So we will get one number because magnitude is a number, and we have to remember that magnitude is always a positive number. So 3 into magnitude of vector A. Now direction of 3 into vector A is, so imagine this is vector A. So it may not be the unit vector. Just think that it is a vector A. Then 3 into vector A. So you will get like this. 3 into vector A. So if it is a unit vector of vector A, so 3 times vector A. Suppose if I write minus 2 vector A the opposite direction of vector A. Suppose vector A is in this direction, then so this will be the minus 2 into vector A direction. So that is about scalar multiplication. Okay, now here we can write vector which is having magnitude 1 units. Now I can define that lambda into vector A. Let us take lambda into vector A. Now I will write lambda as, or I can choose lambda as 1 by magnitude of vector A. So I will choose this lambda 1 by magnitude of vector A, and this is positive. So lambda is positive because after taking magnitude that will become positive only. So 1 is positive. So this number that we have choose is positive number, and denominator not equal to 0. That is clear. Denominator not equal to 0. In such a way, I choose one number for lambda is 1 by magnitude of vector A, and I can say vector A. So lambda into vector A, that is vector A into 1 by magnitude of lambda into vector A. Now I will call this vector as unique vector because magnitude of this vector which is equal to 1. Okay, now I will take this vector as some vector B. If I choose some vector B, then what are the magnitude of vector B? So magnitude of vector B is equal to, take the magnitude right side also, it will become, already this is positive number. If you take positive number's magnitude, then it will become positive number only. So 1 by magnitude of vector A will remain 1 by magnitude of vector A only, then into magnitude of vector A. So cancelled. So we get which is equal to 1. Therefore this is unique vector because magnitude of any vector equal to 1 is, that is unique vector. Therefore vector B is unique vector. So instead of taking vector B, I will write it as A cap. So A cap which is equal to 1 by magnitude of vector A into vector A. So therefore A cap is a unique vector along the direction of vector A. So thus we get one formula. A cap, that is a unique vector, is equal to vector by its magnitude. Vector by its magnitude. Similarly, I can write vector B cap. So vector B cap means here a unique vector which is in the direction of vector B. So I can write it as 1 by magnitude of vector B into vector B. Similarly, we can write C cap, B cap. So those all represent unique vectors. Here it is about scalar multiplication. Okay, next is position vector. Okay, properties. First one, addition, subtraction, that is scalar multiplication, that is over, or the algebra is over. Now we define position vector. So what is this position vector? Okay, now consider 2D plane, two-dimensional plane. That is xy plane we are taking. Consider one point P in 2D plane. Now what is position of P as a vector? That is called as a position vector. That means by taking P as a terminal point, with respect to origin. That means always there are many points in 2D plane. By taking all those points as the terminal points and origin as the initial point, we write position vector. So vector OP means it is a position vector of P. Similarly, we can write if I take Q is a point in 2D plane. Then what is address of this point Q? So telling address with respect to origin. That is taking origin as a O and terminal point as a Q. So vector OQ. That is the position vector of a point Q. Similarly, we can take any point in a 2D plane. We can write its position vector. Okay, now we write suppose in this 2D plane, we are having one vector, vector AB. So like this, we are having vector AB in 2D plane. Then how to write vector AB as a position vector? Let us see. So position vector of A. First I will write the position vector of initial point. So position vector of A is connected with the origin by taking origin as the initial point, A as the terminal point, which is equal to vector OA. Now, what is position vector of B? That is, we can apply rank of the vector addition also, or directly we can write that is equal to vector OB. Now, write vector AB. So, vector OA by following this direction, vector OA plus vector AB, that is equal to vector OB, rank of the vector addition. Now, what is vector AB? Vector AB is equal to, you can see that vector OB minus vector OA. That is, vector OB means it is the position vector of the terminal point. OB means position vector of the terminal point. So I can write PV. PV means position vector. Position vector of terminal point minus vector OA means position vector of the initial point. Position vector of initial point. Okay, in this way we can write any vector as position vector. Okay, now similarly, if I want to write vector CD as position vector using the origin, then I can write it as position vector of the terminal point, vector OD minus position vector of the initial point, vector OC. So this way we can write any vector in the 2D plane as position vector. Difference of position vectors. Okay, now till now we studied how to represent a vector geometrically. Now let us see one exact format to the vector, or how to represent vector properly in 2D and 3D plane. Okay, first I will write for the 2D plane or a 2D vector. Okay, consider 2D plane, xy plane. Okay, I will take one point P in xy plane. You know that any point on 2D plane, that is in the form of, now consider two-dimensional plane. So I am going to write a two-dimensional vector. Okay, if you consider two-dimensional plane, here let me take one point P, x comma y. That is, x comma y means we know that it is a ordered pair. So I can write vector OP, that is equal to x comma y. So this is representation of two-dimensional vector. So this is also one way of representing two-dimensional vector. So I can write vector OP is equal to ordered pair x comma y. This way also we can represent 2D vector. Now here, so p x comma y, that means we write it move x distance in x axis. Therefore I can write one vector here. So x distance. So this vector that is called here x comma 0. So this is point on x axis. You know that y coordinate equal to 0. So this is also a vector because we can represent any ordered pair as a vector means this is also a vector. So I write it as a x comma 0. Then it move or this x comma y move y distance in y axis. This is equal to y. Therefore first in x axis x distance, y axis y distance, we get this. Therefore I can write vector OP. Once again I will write vector OP. Okay, vector OP is equal to ordered pair x comma y, or that is a vector, two-dimensional vector x comma y, that is equal to that is x comma 0 ordered by x comma 0 0 comma y. This way we can write. Now this is equal to I write x into 1 comma 0 plus y into 0 comma 1. Now what is this 1 comma 0? So 1 comma 0 as vector also we can consider. 1 comma 0 is a vector means it is a unit vector. Here 1 comma 0. If you consider as a point 1 comma 0 means this is unit vector because 1 comma 0 that is the distance is 1 unit vector. So we particularly call that unit vector as I cap. That is this point lies on x axis. 1 comma 0 lies on x axis. Therefore x axis unit vector that we write it as I cap, and 0 comma 1 that is also unit vector because the distance equal to 1. This is also unit vector, so we write it as j cap. So y axis unit vector is called j cap, x axis unit vector is called I cap, or we can call them as base vectors also. Therefore I write xi cap plus yj cap. So this is another way of representing 2D vector, xi cap plus yj cap. Then I can write vector OP is equal to x into I cap plus y into j cap. That is another way of representing 2D vector. Now another form I can write. Here in this diagram we can see right-handed triangle. So right-handed triangle is even means we can define 6 trigonometric ratios also. Then I want to find what is x and y. What is x and y? So using angle, I can write x and y. That is as define cos theta and sin theta. Okay, before defining cos theta and sin theta, I want to find what is hypotenuse side here. So what is this hypotenuse side? That is OP. So vector OP, but its magnitude is called just OP. So what is OP? Magnitude of vector OP. So magnitude of vector OP, that is equal to, here origin is 0, 0, we know 0, 0. That is distance between O and P is OP. This is 0, 0. This is x, y. So applying distance formula, we get what is OP, distance OP. So OP is square root of x square plus y square. So that is equal to OP or magnitude of vector OP, or just it is a OP is square root of x square plus y square. Or I can call it as sum R, let it be R. So hypotenuse which is equal to R or magnitude of vector In the diagram, I will write R. Okay, now cos theta is now in this right angle triangle, cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse. So adjacent is x, hypotenuse is r. Cos theta is equal to x by r, or what is x? X is equal to cos multiplied r cos theta. Similarly, in this right angle triangle, I define sin theta. Sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse, y by r, cos multiplied divided by y is equal to r sin theta. Therefore, 2D vector OP is equal to x into I cap, where x is r cos theta now, r cos theta I cap, plus y into j cap, y is r sin theta now, into j cap. Or I can write vector OP r common, cos theta into I cap, sin theta into j cap. Okay, this is another way to represent 2D vector. So in previous we can represent 2D vector. So one is just by writing ordered by vector OP is equal to ordered by x comma y. This way we can represent. That means if you take any 2D point, its terminal point is a vector. Another way is vector OP can be represented by xi cap plus yj cap. That is the linear combination. Then linear combination of non-collinear vectors. Then third way we can represent vector OP is equal to r cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. This way also we can represent. Now what is 2D unit vector? 2D unit vector is when r becomes 1, then we get 2D unit vector. R is equal to 1. Whatever r is equal to 1. Here r means, we can see the hypotenuse side. R is equal to 1 means magnitude of vector OP is equal to 1. That means magnitude of vector OP is equal to 1 means that will become unit vector. So unit vector, when that vector will become unit vector, then we have vector OP is equal to, in the place of r we have 1 cos theta plus sin cos theta I cap plus sin theta j cap. That is a two-dimensional unit vector that we can say. Now when we represent two-dimensional vector, it is a vector and you know magnitude of that vector and direction of that vector. Okay, magnitude of vector that is already given here. You can see that magnitude of vector OP is equal to OP root x square plus y square. When two-dimensional vector is ordered by x comma y, its magnitude will become root x square plus y square. That is the magnitude of that vector, and direction is decided by angle theta. Direction is decided by angle theta. So for angle theta, we already wrote the formula cos theta and sin theta. So therefore, angle that decides the direction, and we can write the magnitude for that vector. So two-dimensional vector. This is about two-dimensional vector. So in the three forms, we can represent that two-dimensional vector. Okay, now let us write three-dimensional vector. Okay, I will write 3D vector. Okay, 3D vector means first we will take three-dimensional plane. So I am just showing one part. That is, actual x-axis means xo, x dash is called x-axis, yo, y dash is called y-axis, zo, z dash is called z-axis. But here we just show the positive directions only. X-axis, y-axis, z-axis. So this is 3D plane. Here this is yz plane including origin, and this is xy plane and xz plane. So these three planes are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, now I will take one point in 3D plane. Actually, take one point in 3D plane means, so our classroom is the best example for 3D. So think that this chalk piece is a point. If this chalk piece is a point means what is the position of this point? That means actually it come from, that means originally it traveled from x-axis, y-axis, then z-axis. So height is taken by z-axis. Similarly here, if I write one point P in 3D plane, then coordinates of P, x comma, y comma, z. We know that x comma, y comma, z ordered triplet. So what is this x coordinate? X coordinate means, so initially that position will be on the origin, then it move x distance in x axis, then it move y distance in y axis, then later it moved height, or we can call it as z distance in z axis. So thus we get one point. So actually x, y, z means that points the position. Okay, now vector OP. So what is vector OP? So vector OP means taking initial point as origin, we write vector OP. So its terminal point itself is a vector. So three-dimensional vector ordered triplet x comma y comma z. So one way to represent that vector OP as ordered triplet x comma y comma z. In this x, y, z are numbers. Now another way to represent that vector. Okay, first it moved x distance in x axis means I can write here x comma 0 comma 0. Similarly move y distance in y axis. So y distance means from origin 0 comma y comma 0. That means here it will become x comma y comma 0. Then it will take height in z axis means x comma y comma z. So I can write it as ordered triplet x comma y comma z, or it is vector OP, x comma 0 comma 0 x axis. This is also a vector, plus 0 comma y comma 0 move distance y axis, plus 0 comma 0 comma z. Then I can write it as x into 1 comma 0 comma 0 plus y into 0 comma 1 comma 0 z into 0 comma 0 comma 1. So what is this 1 comma 0 comma 0? It is also a 3D vector, we know that. So 1 comma 0 comma 0 means it is a unit vector because its magnitude is equal to 1. So we call it as I cap. So x into I cap, that is x axis unit vector, or we can call it as base vector also. Y into 0 comma 1 comma 0 is called as j cap, that is y axis unit vector, and z into 0 comma 0 comma 1, that is taken as k cap, that is also a unit vector along z axis. So I cap, j cap, k cap are three unit vectors along x, y, z axis respectively, and they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, thus we can represent any three-dimensional vector, vector OP, and the representation that is equal to x into I cap plus y into j cap plus 30 into k cap. Okay, most of the time we will use this representation only, x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. That is another representation of vector. Okay, now we call that vector, then we have to write magnitude and direction of that vector. So what is the magnitude of equal to OP. Okay, O means origin 0, 0, 0. Now this is 0, 0, 0. Okay, P is x, y, z. Then distance between these 2 points. So using distance formula also we can write that is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So that is the magnitude of that vector. So if vector of is x, y, z order triplet, then the magnitude of that vector is equal to root x square plus y square plus z square. Then what about its direction? Okay, direction means like in the previous, in the vector case, we have to write alpha, or we have to write that we have to take the angle. Here I will take the angle as alpha, beta, gamma. You know, in this diagram, you can see this is vector OP. Now, this vector making an angle alpha with the x-axis, and the same vector making an angle beta with the y-axis, and making an angle gamma with the z-axis. So this alpha, beta, gamma are called direction angles. Alpha, beta, gamma is called direction angles. Okay, they decide the direction. So these three angles will decide the direction of that vector. So they are called as direction angles. So directed angles you can call alpha, beta, gamma. Now, so I will take separately, that is vector okay, I will take 2D plane ones. Okay, now this is vector OP. I will take x-axis. Okay, vector OP and x-axis. Okay, vector OP makes an angle alpha with the x-axis, that you know. And initially this point we move x distance in x-axis. Therefore, we move x distance here I will write. This is x distance. I will write one rectangle triangle. And OP. So OP is this one root x square plus y square plus z square. I will write it as r. Therefore, I will keep it as r. Now I can write cos alpha because I don't know what is opposite side. So I will just write cos alpha. In this rectangle triangle, cos alpha is equal to adjacent by hypotenuse x by r. X by r, or it is x by r is root x square plus y square plus z square. And this is equal to, I will give the notation L. That is called direction cosine. Cosine means cos. So direction cosine L is equal to x by magnitude of that vector. X by magnitude of that vector. Similar way, I write it makes beta angle beta with the y-axis. Since it is a 3D plane, you can't show it on the board properly. So vector OP makes an angle beta with the y-axis, and actually it moves y distance on y-axis. So now draw one perpendicular and hypotenuse side, that is equal to r. Okay, now defining cos beta here, cos beta equal to y by r, or it is equal to y by square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, this is equal to m. This is equal to m. cos beta is equal to m, cos alpha is equal to l. That is called direction cosines. Similarly, the vector OP will make me an angle gamma with the z axis. That means it moves the distance in z axis, top and perpendicular, and the sides are. So define cos gamma. Where cos gamma is equal to z by r, or it is equal to z by square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, that is equal to, I will call it as n. Okay, now we can see that L, M, N. So one is cos alpha, M is cos alpha, M is cos beta, N is cos gamma. So these three, L, M, N. So these are called as direction cosines. Direction cosines. So element are called direction cosines, and how to find the direction cosine, that is given here. How to find here? That is x by r, x by magnitude of that vector. How to find m, y by magnitude of that vector, and how to find n, z by magnitude of that vector. Okay, now we write x by z. So actually, that is x by z means these are the three numbers which are proportional, always proportional to L, M, N. So three numbers which are always proportional to direction cosines, then these three numbers are called direction ratios. These three numbers are called direction ratios. So here we have to remember these things, these three things. One is direction decided by three angles alpha, beta, gamma. Then L, M, N. These are direction cosines. And x, y, z, that is direction ratio. So if one vector is given in this form, that is in this form means in this vector form, one vector is given, then we are able to find. So what is direction ratio? And we can find what is direction cosine, what is direction angle also. So that is important in 3D vector. Now we can write one relationship between L, M, N. Okay, L square plus M square plus N square. So what is this? Is equal to L square plus M square plus N square is equal to L square means that is cos square alpha, or I can take L square means cos square alpha. This is equal to cos square alpha plus M square is cos square beta plus N square is cos square gamma. Okay, what is cos square alpha? Cos square alpha means squaring this, we get x square by square denominator x square plus y square plus z square. We get then cos square beta. Okay, cos square beta means cos beta is y by root x square plus y square plus z square. Cos square beta means y square by x square plus y square plus z square. And cos square gamma is z square by x square plus y square plus z square. Now taking LCM, that is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. This LCM. Numerator will become x square plus y square plus z square. So on cancelling we get which is equal to 1. Therefore we get the relationship between direction cosines, that is equal to L square plus M square plus N square is always equal to 1. This relationship is important. L square plus m square plus n square is equal to 1.